Good morning, one and all. We'll be starting with proceedings in about 2 minutes. We are just waiting for few delegates who are at the reception area. We're thankful to all of you for joining us today and looking forward to good deliberations for first half of the day. There are two parts to this Connectomics. First one you could see is the Symposium. That's for industry delegates and faculty researchers. And in the second half, we'll have students and parents. Theme is same, design thinking and innovation. And then we'll be also discussing how they could pursue higher studies abroad and improve their prospects over time. So we'll start with the event now. Greetings from Vishwakarma University, Pune and Binghamton University, USA. Both these organizations have joined hands for this particular event for now, but we have long-standing partnership on multiple fronts, including research, projects, faculty exchange, student development related activities, and also some benefits are extended to industry, primarily in the form of VUBU, Design Thinking Center of Excellence. So that's where we have kind of put in place a framework to work with partners appropriately. My name is Amol Randive. I lead Industry Connect Placement and Career Progression activities at the Vishwakarma University. We are delighted to have industry leaders, R&D professionals and innovation champions from various organizations. As you would have noticed, we have professionals from diverse fields. This was well planned because the way in which industry operates is obviously amalgamation of different functions and in many cases working together that way. In the audience, we also have faculty researchers from Vishwakarma University and senior leadership from Binghamton University for deliberations. Now I request dignitaries to join us on the stage to begin with the proceedings. Dr. Madhusudan Govindraju, Vice Provost for International Education and Global Affairs, Binghamton University. Dr. Krishnaswamy Srihari, Dean, Thomas J. Watson College of Engineering and Applied Science, SUNY Distinguished Professor, Binghamton University. Mr. Bharat Agarwal, President, Vishwakarma University. Professor Siddharth Zabde, Vice Chancellor, sir. Professor Michael Testani, sir, and Dr. Kailash Patil, sir, Director of VUBU Design Thinking and Innovation Center of Excellence. Now I request Bharat Agarwal, sir, to begin with the welcome address.
Thank you, Amol. Foremost, a very warm welcome to all industry delegates to Connectomics. This is an event that we have been coordinating, organizing for a certain time now. The objective of this event being we want to reach out to our industry partners, corporates, researchers on how can academia and industry collaborate and work together for research, for project development, for product development, and for other facets of new technologies that are evolving in the ecosystem. Firstly, I welcome from Binghamton University, State University of New York, Dr. Srihari, Dr. Madhusudan, Mr. Mike Testani, and other delegates from Binghamton. Vishwakarma University, erstwhile, is also a part of a large group having two engineering colleges, prominent engineering colleges from Pune, VIT and VIIT. And between VIT, VIIT, VU, we have almost a decade plus long relationship with Binghamton University. We have been working together, as mentioned earlier, to promote research for faculty collaboration and faculty exchanges. We have had faculty from Binghamton traveling to Pune on our campus to teach. We have had student exchanges where students from VIT, VIT, as well as from BU have traveled in each other campuses for some cultural as well as some courses, cultural exchanges and for some courses. And now we are also developing capabilities around and developing some centers of excellence. The one which is functioning very well, about which more information will be given today, is the BU Center of Excellence in Design Thinking. I also take this opportunity to share my views about largely what Connectomics is and what is our main theme. Academia industry relationships go a long way, and I have had the honor of speaking on a lot of academia industry such programs where we talk about various ways in which industry, academia can collaborate, should collaborate, the gaps that exist between them, and the problems that are there in the industry and society because of the gaps between the industry and academia. Of course, we have been talking about still gaps in our students when they pass out from our university campuses. They are not industry ready, and I am sure we have been talking about this for quite a number of years, and there is progress made. I would never ever say that we have reached a state where our students would be billable from day one, but there is decent progress made on either side, on each side, and we are definitely going to make more efforts towards that. I think as industry and academia, both of us in the Indian context have matured over the last 2 decades. And it is now high time that we also collaborate on different aspects, different areas and different zones. One such area where I believe we need to work together is on research and related areas. I myself own a MSME, aluminum casting factory company, and I understand the constraints that I have been the production unit, a manufacturing unit. We are tight on timelines. We are of course tight on budgets. We have a lot of cost pressure, and then you expect, or society expects us, our customers expect us that we innovate and we spend on R&D. And I know it is virtually impossible and very, very difficult to do that. While thinking about this similar problem in outside countries, especially the US, from where Binghamton University is, or from Europe, we learn a model that industry academia collaborate in these countries for research and development in a big way. And this happens because finally, research and development is something that requires a risk appetite. And most of the MSMEs don't have that risk appetite. So one working model or workable model in this scenario would be that the MSME industry outsources its R&D projects, its research ideas to academia to work on. Academia has a lot of advantages to do such activities. Foremost, faculty who are research thinkers. Second, students who are in an age group where they have no constraints and no past experiences which bind their thinking process. So we believe as Vishwakarma University that if the industry from Pune come forward and share their constraints, their problem statements, their research ideas, something that they want to do a trial and error, we are ready to fail because we are meant to do all these things. So if these research ideas are thrown upon to us as a system, we also have the capabilities of Binghamton University professors and faculty working with us. So there is a combined faculty in the capability strength. We'll be able to deliver better results on research ideas. It is high time that industry also trusts academia on this effort and throws up such research projects and research ideas to the academia. And I urge all the industries from Pune, present over here and otherwise, to please be more open towards sharing problem statements to students and faculty. And I'm sure we have a lot of examples that will be presented today in the day where industry have done this. They have given research projects only to Vishwakarma. There would be even to others, but I can only share about us. And there have been some great results. So these experiences and case studies would also be shared in the day, which will throw more light upon how systems processes in this domain work. Second, I think students Finally, we talked about students, and these are our students, our Indian Pune students, our Maharashtra students, our India students. We all have been talking about the skill gap, which I earlier spoke about. It is imperative that how do we bridge that skill gap through better courses, updated curriculum, better teaching pedagogies, and so on. One factor which plays a very important role, we all understand now and appreciate now, is hands-on industrial internship. We have been long talking about it. Many models of internships have evolved over the years. The one that is running successfully across all Vishwakarma Group institutes and now many others is a compulsory 6 months internship in the final year, either the 7th semester or 8th semester of engineering, and other domains also something similar. I know for sure, and especially post-COVID, students need information and theory knowledge in campus, but then also get it otherwise. They can have access to other online courses or through friends or through some home tutorials or something else. What they really need now more than before is a great exposure and a great experience, for which we need internship opportunities. I urge industry network, industry professionals present over here today to please be also open and throw up such internship opportunities for our students. I always say this in a very emotional way that finally we are doing this for our own students. हमारे ही बच्चे हैं, उनके लिए हमने इतना करना चाहिए. Last, before I close, research is one area where we all believe India has to grow, progress than ever before. I also know a lot of industry professionals who, because of their day-to-day activities, day-to-day pressures, work schedules, have left their dream of doing research a bit behind. We can work out a model in which industry professionals can complete their PhDs with us. We already have a few people in the audience, Mr. Pratashi Dhota is over here, who have completed their PhDs with Vishwakarma University while in business, while in the working profession, while being in the working profession. So I think we are all open as BU to throw upon our PhD slots to industry professionals. It's very simple. It's a very simple process through which you can gain PhD admission vis-a-vis a complicated process at other universities. So once again, I request all of you all to take note of these opportunities of doing your own PhDs and upgrading your own qualifications at Vishwakarma University. I believe the case studies, the examples that will be thrown upon today by experts, by our partners, will give us more confidence that research, internships, and PhD is something that is possible. We only need to trust and believe in each other more than before. I once again welcome all of you all to today's event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your views and also for setting the stage as Vishwakarma University leadership for some focused deliberations and also partnership with respect to research and innovation. Now we would like to extend our gratitude by presenting a small token of appreciation for our distinguished dignitaries from Binghamton University. I request Mr. Bharat Agarwal, sir, to felicitate Dr. Madhusudan. We are glad that sir has joined us today, traveled for this event. This memento nib that you see is designed by our students and faculty, is made up of natural material bamboo, and this represents spirit of education, championship, and sustainability. Next, Dr. Srihari, sir. Sir, we cherish this partnership and looking forward to more such collaborative work in due course of time. Thank you, sir. Professor Michael Testani. So Michael Testani, sir, has played a pivotal role in setting up this design thinking and innovation center of excellence in partnership, and also working closely with faculty and students and alumnus here from India. Now we request Elizabeth, ma'am, to please join us on the stage for felicitation. Yeah, please. Yeah. So now we move to the next and most awaited part, that is keynote address to be delivered by Dr. Shriyari sir, titled Industry Collaboration in an Academic Setting. I humbly request all other dignitaries to please occupy seats in the front row. Honorable Dr. Krishnaswamy Shriyari sir has played a key role in the creation of university-industry partnerships as the founding director of the Watson Institute for Systems Engineering, WISE. Dr. Shriyari earned his bachelor's degree with honors in production engineering from the University of Madras, India, and his master's and doctorate in industrial engineering and operations research from Virginia Tech. Just give us a minute to set it up.
Good morning. It's an understatement to say that my colleagues and I are delighted to be here today to work alongside our friends, our colleagues, our academic collaborators from the Vishwakarma group of academic institutions. Our partnership, as President Bharat Agarwal mentioned, goes back to July 2010, when my colleague Dr. Nagin Nagarur visited Pune at my request and met with Professor Abhayankar at VIT. Since then, we have had economic challenges or economic meltdowns in the United States and challenges across the world. We've had the global pandemic, but all these have only proven to be speed bumps. And each time, our collaboration has emerged much more stronger, much more resilient, much more broad-based, concurrently increasing the depth and diversity of what we do. I cannot tell you how valuable it is to be able to reach out and talk to a person whom I would call my friend, but definitely someone who works his heart out for the Vishwakarma Group, Professor Dr. Siddharth Jabade. He is available 365 days of the year, 24/7, for me to communicate. And I don't know why he picks up my calls, but he does. He does have caller ID, but he does, and we're able to talk about things, talk about what is going well, what we can do better, and how we work on each and every aspect of this multifaceted partnership between two academic institutions. For between Vishwakarma, which Siddharth Jabade represents so very well, and our campus, that is represented today by Mike Testani, Madhu Govindaraju, Liz Krajian, and myself. A little about Binghamton. I don't want to make this about Binghamton, but just to set some stage for you, we are consistently for the last so many years ranked between 175 and 250 in Times Higher Education across the world. Our campus is number 35 among state universities in America. And to give you an idea, just 3 states, Texas, California, and New York, have over 200 state campuses. And there are 47 other states and Puerto Rico and so on. If you were to have one more constraint, 25,000 students or less, we would be number 1 in the US News and World Report ranking. Our campus, the SAT scores of students who come to our campus is between 5 and 10 in the nation for the last so many years. We get superb students, and without going into more detail, who are economically challenged, who come from very, very diverse backgrounds. 20 to 25% of our incoming students are first-generation students. A similar percentage does not speak English at home, and about 30% of our students are Pell Grant eligible, which means their household income is less than $35,000 a year. So our campus represents what we are very, very proud of. Excellent students, diverse students who come from very different backgrounds, but who excel in academics. So when we talk about our campus, to set the stage, we are what you would call an R1 institution. In the Carnegie system, there's the highest ranking, which is kind of acknowledged across America from a research perspective. And for us, one of the jewels in our crown is the center that we've had at Vishwakarma, which we have and will continue to strengthen, that focuses on design thinking. Co-directed by faculty from Vishwakarma University and Mike Testani from Binghamton, this was our first collaborative research center in India. And it focuses on an aspect of things that's very important to us. In that context, I thought it would be good for us to share some of our thoughts on how we work with industry. The reason I've got this pie chart up there is about 22% of our sponsored research comes from industry. The typical university in America is between 7 to 10%. We are obviously doing more than that. Working with industry, yes, we get funded by the National Science Foundation, federal sources, state sources, and so on, all for peer-reviewed competitive processes. But over the last 4 decades, we have evolved multiple ways of working with different facets of industry, different types of industry. So let us go through some of that. The backbone of that is the research groups on campus. And I will talk about some of these research groups. I have been at Binghamton for over 35 years. And my wife and I moved to the Binghamton area in August of '88. There are many of you in the room who were not born at that time. And obviously, yes, I do get paid by Binghamton, but when you are at an employer for over 34, 35 years, it becomes part of who you are. And in Indian literature, you always remember the Karnan story, where Kunti approaches Karna and says, "You two are my son." And he says, although he knows that he's probably going to end up on the losing side, he decides to stick it out. Now, whether this is right or wrong, we can debate that all day, but we are always true to our salt. And Binghamton is very important to me and each one of my colleagues here. So when we have the opportunity to work with a world-class institution that is not only academically excellent, but shares our values, Vishwakarma is our longest standing partner in India. So let's talk about different facets of how we work. One, the small scale systems integration and packaging center. Today in America, in India, you read about Foxconn in Gujarat. You read about Jabil in Pune. There is Foxconn in Chennai. There is Wistron in Bangalore. We have been at universities for the last 4 days, where people have consistently talked about electronics. And given where we are, and given our history at Binghamton, this is a major focus for us. And the Small Scale Systems and Integrated Packaging Center is a federally funded, meaning funded by the by America, the United States, through the National Science Foundation, but also state supported through what we call NISTAR or New York State, but is also supported by industry. And I will explain to you how that happens. People from afar, whether it's from Korea or Japan, Mexico, or different facets of America, come to this center because of the knowledge base and the intellectual capital. I'm not going to go through every line, but here it's a consortium-based approach where people come in. So in New York State, there are several centers for excellence. These are evaluated every year. So just because you got funded this year doesn't mean you'll be funded next year. So we get up to $1 million from the state of New York only as a match for money that you get from industry. So we have to get $1 million in support from industry for projects that are of importance to industry, and then New York State matches it. Along with that, I'll also talk about this later, New York State has got metrics, economic development, jobs, and so on. One phrase that I often use on campus, no sponsor, whether they're industry, the National Science Foundation, or the state of New York, they don't belong to the Mother Teresa Brigade. That's what I keep saying. They're not an NGO. They are doing this because it makes economic sense, business sense to them. Each one of these centers that you see is simply world-class. They are evaluated every year, and only then funding is continued. So under this umbrella of the S3IP, just to give you an idea, we have multiple other centers. The Integrated Electronics Engineering Center, which is one of our oldest research centers on campus. In the last few years, heterogeneous packaging, this one we co-share with Purdue University. We are the lead, and Dr. Ganesh Subbarayan at Purdue is a co-director. The Center for Advanced Microelectronics Manufacturing, which literally gets tens of millions of dollars a year on funding for flexible electronics. Energy Smart Electronics, which is a consortium of 4 universities, Georgia Tech, Villanova, UT Arlington, Purdue, and then we are the lead. Binghamton is the lead. The Center for Autonomous Solar Power, and NEXIS, which is the Northeastern Chemical Energy Storage Center, which is led by Stan Whittingham. All of us have phones in our pockets. Those phones have got lithium-ion batteries. In 2019, Stan Whittingham, along with two others, was awarded the Nobel Prize for coming up with a lithium-ion battery storage mechanism in 1970. So when you have a person of the stature of Stan Whittingham, it is but natural that you focus on energy storage. And by the way, he's a very, very nice human being, a very humble person, very easy to work with. So when talking about working with industry, industry is going to come and work with us only if we have things that they need that they probably cannot do online on their campus, or they want to come and see what are you doing and what did we miss. We have seen all of that in the last 30, 40 years. Just as an aside, my first research award from industry, my first proposal was October 88. It was awarded May 89. So personally, I've been working with industry for over 3 decades now, and I've brought in over $60 million to our campus on projects sponsored by industry. So when you think, why is industry wanting to work with you? It is because you have knowledge capital that they would like. So these are some of the areas that the S3IP works on. And then there's always the problem of intellectual property. This is one facet of doing things, a consortium-based model, where you've got to work out what you would call the IP. Who owns the IP? How in many cases, we go for joint ownership, or we give industry a royalty-free license. The state of New York policy is a state law. Anything found identified on our campus belongs to the state, so we give the industry a royalty-free license. There are ways to work around it. I signed my first NDA, non-disclosure agreement, about 30 years ago. And when I first signed it, I was like, I'm a faculty member. What is this NDA stuff all about? Today we do NDAs all the time. We are working with a new sponsor called eZync. My colleagues were talking to them 2 days ago, and the question of NDAs came up. So I called my colleague, Dr. Yong Wong, and said, Yong, this is the way you deal with it. Just because I've been there before, and I wanted to make sure that Yong doesn't spend time doing things that he doesn't have to. Now look at the list of partners that the S3IP has. All right, in the electronics domain, it's almost like a who is who, right, of industry. From IBM, where we work on data centers and data center management, to Microsoft and Google, to we have worked with IIT Madras, with companies like Raymond, they're a large Toyota company. Toyota bought them about 15 years ago. They make forklift trucks, very different domain. GE Global Research in Niskayuna, and so on. In this particular model, we have to take research done on our campus and translate that to what the industry partner would be interested in. We're also providing technical services. We have state-of-the-art labs. A small company will not be able to buy, or may not be able to buy, an SEM, a scanning electron microscope. We have got fantastic facilities that they can come and use at a reduced price. Equipment is not the only thing. You need people to run that equipment and to know what their equipment says. If you look at something from an SEM, somebody has to be able to interpret it. Right? It's like going to a doctor and getting a CT scan, but if nobody can read the CT scan, the use of the CT scan isn't a whole lot. And then you got the great state of New York, which is going to say, what is my economic impact? Why am I giving you money? Why are we designating you a center for excellence? So now, in the last few years, given the thrust in America to bring industry back, given our focus on energy storage, which is, by the way, very similar to India's transition to a non-carbon-based environment. As an aside, the other day we were driving from Bhopal to Indore, and that car, which you would not have been able to, I'm sure you guys know this already, I was surprised that it is gas-powered or CNG-powered, that with a gasoline engine as a backup. All right, and so a lot of things that you see in storage, for example, are extremely important. Most recently, we were awarded about $100+ million in new energy New York for the Binghamton area to become a center for battery manufacturing and battery deconstruction and lithium retrieval from spent batteries. I know in the last 2 months, there's been a lot of things in the newspapers about lithium in Jammu and Kashmir and lithium around Mandya and so on. But the recycling of lithium continues to be a major focus, as also the development of non-lithium ion batteries, zinc-based batteries, and so on. So this is one model that you could have where you have a consortium of industry working with a center. Now, the Watson Institute for Systems Excellence is a group that, and I don't mean to be pompous or egotistical, I helped found in 1989. Today, my colleague, Professor Mohammad Kasavni, leads the group. Mohammad has been, by the way, he is a member of the Vishwakarma family, a de facto member, I would say. And he was here just in the last 4 weeks. And I know there are faculty at Vishwakarma who work with him on health systems and so on. If you had 5 people in America who are very good in the implementation of systems science, systems engineering in healthcare, Mohammed would be one of those 5. He's from Jordan, but he's traveled more of India than most people from India would have ever done. So in WISE, we are very straightforward. Work with industry on projects that make sense to industry. We are very cognizant of return on investment, timelines, deadlines, and so on. But however, in WISE, we always say that we work with industry, we are not industry, our job is still education. There are 3 stakeholders in WISE: the industrial sponsor, the university, and the graduate or undergraduate students. The preponderance are graduate students. It has got to be a long-standing, value-driven partnership. If we are going to be getting funding from a particular industry, I keep reminding people that they're giving us money for this project. We may have worked with this company, let's say Sanmina, since 1998. They paid us for that. What they're paying us for now is the project at hand, and we better exceed expectations each and every time. Yes, they take our phone calls, there is some goodwill, but they're on the hook also. So we need to make sure that we deliver. This is slightly dated, the slide. Today, WISE has got 108 grad students there is funding. It is the single largest research group of its kind in America. There is no other example that even comes close. It's completely self-supported, getting millions of dollars a year. We, as a matter of principle, do not ask the university for any money. We want to be completely self-sufficient, and our goal is the education of our students while taking care of our sponsors. These are the faculty associated with WISE, absolutely brilliant individuals who understand that we have to deliver, who understand that we have to publish. Yes, we have to make sure that we maintain whatever we have signed to in the non-disclosure. Every research paper is co-authored with industry. Whenever possible and feasible, members from industry serve on the thesis or dissertation committee. So it's a true collaborative process. In WISE, you need a very pragmatic industrial partner because all the projects we do are in the critical path of the company. So when we say we are on the critical path of the company, we better make sure that we deliver each and every time because whatever we do is in their critical path. However, if it's not on their critical path, they're not going to give us money. It goes back to they are not a charitable organization. So if you look at this list of companies, I can spend a lot of time of how it works. But today we work with over 15 hospitals. We work with companies like Foxconn. We work with modeling and simulation-based opportunities. We work with GE on energy management, on looking at batteries and their use in wind farms, and looking at state of charge, remote monitoring of systems. We work with eZinc on zinc-based batteries. And these are some of the accomplishments of WISE. Again, we have to publish. We need theses, we need dissertations. But I'll give you also another example. In all this, you can say, Hari, WISE is we are an academic institution. We have got internships that WISE funds for children, for students with special needs, for folks who are on the autism spectrum. We make sure that we have a diverse student body. We do everything that we need to do and beyond. We have provided scholarships for underrepresented minorities who come into Binghamton University, who come into Watson. We always remember that we work for the university, but we also work with industry. So we talked about different parts of or different facets of this complex landscape: the student, the faculty member, the sponsor, the university. Another facet of our interaction with industry is led by Mike Testani and Liz Karagian. How we work with industry through professional outreach. As also, one facet is what we call the SPUR program. Essentially, it's a program funded actually by the state of New York and with some contribution from industry, minimal contribution from industry, focused at small industry. While the charter calls for small industry, we have defined it as with 100 or less employees. And I think in Mike's case, or in our case, we look at a lot of industry that's 25 and below. And it's a very different work environment than you would have at a Foxconn or at an IBM. Here again, we are aligning faculty knowledge, grad students with projects. And this works very, very well. It has been in place for about 20 plus years now, or 30 years now, Mike. From the 1993-94 timeframe, I was off by a decade. And in our context, in our political context, we've had Republicans and Democrats, changes in our power structure at the political level, but this program has continued because it's a very good program. And most recently, we are aligning it with our incubator in the last few years. So our students get the opportunity to work with startup companies, and we've also tried to focus in certain areas, whether it's AI, quantum computing, clean energy, and so on. When we look at a university, going back to Nalanda 2,000 years ago, and other universities, maybe going back to Aristotle and Plato and ancient Alexandria, universities are a repository of knowledge. That is where people from different parts of the world come together and talk to each other and build up your knowledge base. Universities are not where people want to always agree all the time. And to quote the Indian Foreign Minister, Jai Shankar, In universities, we can have disagreements. We never allow them to become disputes. Academic freedom means the ability to talk and debate in a very collegial manner. But when you look at the crux of an university, it's intellectual capital. So we do a lot in terms of professional education, some of which we do in India, and a lot of which we have done with our partners here through the Design Thinking Center. We offer many, many courses. We offer these courses to industry in America. We do this in person. They come to our campus. We do this before the pandemic online, and now definitely it's available online. And through Mike Testani's organization, we began offering micro-credentials. His team was the trendsetter a few years ago in SUNY. He was the guy that SUNY came to and said, how do we do this? And our campus is now using him as a knowledge expert from an administrative perspective. But these are, for example, when we look at Lean Six Sigma, that's something that we have pioneered or worked with Vishwakarma for well over a decade now, whether it's white belt, yellow belt, green belt, and black belt. And we are glad to do that. We've also stacked many credentials and courses, so you can get a learning suite of data. We were talking about people going back to school. For example, earlier this morning, I was talking to President Bharat Agarwal about engineering management. And last night we were talking about the reason we are required to teach engineering ethics. It's part of our accreditation requirement. But we also provide that for others outside our campus. And we are also looking at, we have a fantastic machine shop. We have excellent technicians. So I think Mike is putting together courses on machining, on welding, because machinists are very difficult to come by. So it all doesn't have to be data science. Today's students are never going to be like me, highly unlikely, meaning I said I was at the same employer for 34 plus years. If today's graduate stays at an employer for 3 years or 4 years, that's a miracle. They are going to look at starting their own companies. When Liz and I get the opportunity to go to different campuses, we are amazed. For example, at the students at Vishwakarma, look at all the posters around here. Today, thanks to the efforts of Vice Chancellor Jabade, we have a senior design project that spans Chulalongkorn in Thailand, Vishwakarma here, and Binghamton University. Think of the opportunity. Forget about the project. These students are going to work across boundaries. They are working across 3 different boundaries: Thailand, India, and the United States. An opportunity that was way beyond my thought process when I went to engineering college in India. And that is what we want to provide by partnerships with world-class universities like Vishwakarma. Centers like the one that you see is one of the centers we have. It's a national center focusing on cybersecurity, led by our colleague, Dr. Ping Yang. And the other centers of campus help enhance the intellectual capital on our campus. We talked about Stan Whittingham, an unbelievable gentleman, fantastic, very nice human being, very down-to-earth, non-egotistical person, somebody who adds a lot of value to what we can afford. For example, maybe a year ago, I got a strange request from the FBI who said, Hari, can you set up a meeting for us with Stan Whittingham? That is the stature of this person when people want to, the Federal Bureau of Investigation shows up and says, we want to talk to that guy, can you help us with that? And of course he did. I'll stop here, and if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer. Is it okay? Do we have time for that? I know we are probably a little over time. If you have any questions, I can answer now or during the tea break or something like that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dr. Srihari, sir, for delivering your keynote address and providing us with insights based on your rich experience. And I think that should help us build better teams within university and companies together. And always a pleasure listening to you and get some energy and ideas about how we can do better. Moving on, now I request Dr. Siddharth Zabde, Vice Chancellor, Sir, Vishwakarma University, to talk about transdisciplinary centers of excellence for applied research and innovation. He possesses multifaceted experience in education, research, innovation, intellectual property rights, and technology commercialization. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Amol. As President Bharat Agarwal has already mentioned, so what is the mechanism that we have created to work with industry in a meaningful manner, that I'm going to share some thoughts. And also, without saying, with the long-standing 13 plus years of our association with Binghamton University, some of those are inspired by those models. I would put across as what VU, Vishwakarma University, we treat it as okay, one is part of a university where teaching, learning takes place, but also otherwise we treat it as a knowledge enterprise. Therefore, there is a generation of knowledge, rather co-generation of knowledge with industry, and then there is a transfer of knowledge. And in this space, Vishwakarma University, along with the partners like Binghamton University and industry, we wish to work on emerging technologies in a manner that we reach TRL, that is the technology readiness level, that is the prototyping in the operational environment for industry, which I will come to that in the later stage, so that we can have well-groomed human resource, which is meaningful for the industry. Based on the business-led research, it's a directed research solving the problem of the industry, so that the industry will have competitive advantage, and it's not just blue sky research. So that's the idea, and I will present some part. Now, all these platforms, how we are integrated in our academic philosophy. If you look at the conventional model of education that has been there, has always been linear, which create knowledge, then preserve it and disseminate it, because educational institutes used to be custodian of information. But now information is democratized, commoditized. The model that we want to create, and we are as a modern university, is first to innovate. And innovate for what? Work on the technical problems of the industry and society, and try to solve the problem that is need to be solved, and not the problem that we can solve. Because it is very easy to assume a problem and say, I can solve those, and then go back to the industry. And industry says, I never wanted this because my problems are different. My unmet need is different. My market requirement is different. Therefore, start as this process as innovation. Then integrate our students, faculty, and industry in the process. And these learnings percolate in the education without losing, of course, the focus on the fundamentals. And that's where we say innovation, integration, and education. And that's the academic philosophy that we are working with. And what are the enabling platforms? And for this Connectomics is one of those where we try to sensitize industry as President Bharat Agarwal said, this symposium is not for asking placements. This symposium is to sensitize Indian industry. Can we create a progressive platform link with you so that we can work on the translational research? That means research that will see light of the day, that will add a competitive advantage to industry, and then work with the impactful collaboration, which will create ability to have knowledge transfer supported with the training of the students as well as faculty, and then create this as an ecosystem. Because as we have seen in the previous phenomenal presentation, the way US model has worked, it's always creating a consortium and ecosystem, because in isolation, neither Vishwakarma University nor a particular industry could work. We create this enabling ecosystem so that it will really create an impact for the industry. That's what is one of the models that we have, is called transdisciplinary center. Disciplines, because the real life problems in the industry are discipline agnostic. We are transcending disciplinary, the centers are established in collaboration with industry. And here the idea is to develop, solve problems, develop solutions, and use this patent, because patent is the database, and patenting, all of us know, 70% plus knowledge, technical knowledge on this planet is only in the patent database. How do we use it? And how do we integrate students? So that's an enabling mechanism that is created through this entire part. And the way the structure of the center is, it is led by with industry, because we call it as industry on campus or the knowledge partner on campus. In collaboration with industry, it is led by our faculty and industry leader, based on the technical problem that is solved. Very important, we have students across Vishwakarma University. We have 40 plus programs in different diverse elements, right from pharmacy to music to architecture to art and design. Students from diverse fields, they work on a single problem, say that's psychology, art and design, science, technology, so on and so forth. They work with industry, along with industry mentor and our teachers. Our, as I mentioned, patent search is well integrated. We follow technology readiness levels. All these aspects are well integrated in their education in the form of internships. And we treat our campus as the living laboratory, because when it comes to technology development and testing and technology in the operational environment inside a TRL or TRL8, then our campus, please be sure that our campus, you can use it as campus where you can really have the laboratory. So campus, it's a living laboratory in itself. And I'll give you tangible examples for this. Coming back to this point of how we develop, it's an ideation to impact cycle. But always in this cycle, we hit the valley of death or the chasm. And the two parts where TRL4 to TRL5 is a technology acceleration, because conventionally it is always easy to work up to TRL4 in the laboratory environment. But when it comes to the prototyping or simulation in the digitalized world, prototyping for the appropriate scale in view of the unmet need of the industry, correct? And that part, that is TRL 5-6, where many academic programs and academic projects have natural death. I can tell you with confidence, because in addition to my academic credentials, I am also qualified patent agent at the Indian Patent Office, filing 300 plus patents and work on several innovation-led projects. On the other side, have worked with in academia also. So that part is as the technology acceleration. And the second is market acceleration, because I have a great prototype, but can it be ready for the market readiness level, customer readiness level, IP readiness level, and the team readiness level? And that's where we have this understanding and we work along with this. And we have integrated this patent search. Again, I'm harping on this because, again, reiterating the same fact. 70% plus knowledge domain is in the patent databases. If we don't use it intelligently, it relates to either unknowingly copying what is done already, so that when we are unknowingly copying or reinventing, we are investing our resources for nothing, or unknowingly infringing somebody else's patent or the intellectual property, which is not good for industry. Therefore, this entire process is with the patent search. We know right from the beginning, at the ideation stage itself, do we move forward, whether it will create value for the company or no? How can we create a non-infringing solution which will provide a competitive advantage and which will, in simple terms, add to the bottom line of the industry? And that's an integrated process, and we have our own expertise developed. That's where we try to complete this entire cycle from ideation to impact following this TRL as a proven technology. As I said, we will have tangible examples of the industry with whom we have worked, where this entire process is followed. And I'm also very proud to say, again, taking the point of President Bharat Agarwal, the morning, so this has been done as in some of the cases as the PhD, because when we look at it as a PhD, Doctor Philosophy, we don't want to work on, again, the problems that we think are problems. We appeal industry. Please come across with your problem and let us try to address that problem, integrating our expertise as faculty, integrating our network such as Binghamton University, their expertise, their resources, and then address it so that it is really, really a value add to industry, to students, and to all the stakeholders. This value-added innovation process, the way it works here is, what is the need of the project? Because we start with the outside-in approach. That is, what are the issues with the industry? What are the problems faced? And then work with this. Then integrate targeted patent search, because first, let us be wise to understand who has done what, rather than saying, I will do this and that. It is well-established fact again in the world, and it's again logic, because 70% plus technical advancements are only in the patent database and not in others. Mark my word, even in papers and books, because papers are published for scientific endeavors. Patents are filed as intellectual property, which has a lot of value because the company invests. If we know that out of 70% major part, then only 30 to 40% we have to use our brain and top it up. And how can we use it is based on the technology maps, matrix maps. This is very scientific, which we have expertise in. We can claim those, and I can show you some of the tangible examples, so that we know what are the limitations of the competition, what are their white space, means the parts that they have not done, where we can focus, and then target our focus, energy, resources, and intellect to suffice that, so that we really come up with a novel and inventive solution which is non-infringing and which will really gain a competitive advantage for industry. That's what the mention is, tailoring inventive step. How can we circumvent in the maze of the solutions that are there? And that's where we work out. And this entire process, if you look at the bottom line, is very, very agile, and it is responding to the changes. And therefore, it is as per the need-based and not what's the prescription-based, that what we think we could do. There are collaborative centers in Vishwakarma University based on this. Most prominent, and the first one is with Binghamton University, Center of Excellence, Design Thinking and Innovation. I must thank Dean Srihari, who has been with us for last more than 13 years, and entire Binghamton delegation, Vice Provost, Professor Madhusudan Govindaraju, Mike Testani, Liz Regin, who have been here. Then other centers are, you can read it, with Unity Technologies in the US, with Witchcraft, with Vilo. Vilo Mathur and Platt is in Pune, but their parent is in Germany, so on and so forth. I won't get into those details. Again, this is the center, and then we will elaborate in our second half as well as some part, and there are very good projects as the outcome of this entire process that is followed. Another tangible example I want to provide in next couple of minutes. It's a project of national importance based on the same model that we worked with Prashak Techno Enterprises, led by Dr. Praful Naik, and with AIT. And this is called Affordable Housing and Sanitation Integrated Community Housing Project. I am one of the principal inventors in this project. And this project is all about creating for India affordable housing. And when we said, let us create a project, naturally it so happens that we will create great presentations and all those, correct, and say how this is a great project. But this technology readiness level, if I go back to what I stated, we said, we went to the Office of President, thanks to Mrs. Homita Paul, then Secretary to Mr. Pranav Mukherjee, our President, say we have a technology, we want to demonstrate it in operational environment. It is regarding affordable housing using locally available soil to build entire house with minimum intervention of any of the concrete and steel. And that also empowers our rural India, because women and all people can be part of this entire process because the local skill available is used. The first demonstration was at the President Estate at Dehradun, and we have demonstrated this entire house is built out there. President Pranav Mukherjee sir inaugurated this, and it is now again like TRL 7 and TRL 8, but now this is also then adapted by the President Office under the concept of Smart Gram that we created. And 100 villages are adopted by the Office of President. In each of the village, there will be one school and one digital kiosk actually built using this technology of affordable housing, using local skill available. And then we'll have 100 villages, and similarly this will be this. The first time in the history of this country, through CPWD, this project is granted innovation label so that it is out of any of the tendering process, because it is the project of national importance for our country. I'm the principal investigator through our Vishwakarma University, through Prashak Enterprises and the knowledge partners. We have taken this and now demonstrated it. The same process that is shown to you as a concept of the center, everything which followed out there. Recently, this has also received award. So these are the two. This is during the build stage, and Daula is the village in Haryana where it is installed, another village. So this got also award, the hands of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, as in Asha, this affordable housing, this project. Another center is with Vilo Foundation. We have worked with industry regarding this. Vilo is a German pump manufacturer. They have a plant in India, Vilo Mathurin plant. And there is a center on water quality center of excellence. We have developed some technologies that you are welcome to visit our university to see this 40-feet tall vertical sewage treatment plant is already developed. Our design thinking center has already developed Bundi Ram, the water filter for them, right from the design to implementation stages. So this center is one of the key centers along with others. I wish to state that we are also well aware when we work with industry, typically pharma and others, we need to be compliant with the General Data Protection Regulation and data security. So we are ISO 27001 compliant. So if I'm not wrong, Professor Patil sir is the one who, Kailas Patil is sitting here, he leads it. We are the first university, at least in this region, to be compliant with ISO 27001 that takes care of your data security and all those aspects in the digital galaxy. As epilogue, I wish to state that as the university, along with our partners, we have these enabling engagement models with industry. We also understand the pain points of industry. We understand the requirement of the academia. And we have engagement models that take care of the intellectual property, that take care of the data security, that takes care of the industry interest, and that also takes care of the interest of the university. We have critical mass of people to honor it. We have the right knowledge partners, including industry, including our university network. We are agile because we know how to follow contours of change, because you can't be static. We are agile, and therefore we appeal here to industry that let us connect, because the word Connectomics is how it is originated from how there is a communication with the brain cells, neurons, with the nervous system, and it is one of the fantastic communication mechanism that we as humans have been engineered and part of it. So let us connect, let us work together, and we can assure you, you will feel proud and you will certainly get competitive advantage through this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor, sir. And I must thank all the resource persons so far for one more reason. I think all of them have collectively helped me take care of the 5 minutes initial delay. And we are on time, in fact, in time as we proceed to the next session. That's good. And I think this is one of our attempts in other initiatives also, whether it is projects or other activities that we try and attempt, because this is the way to build value or rather add value and also build relationships working with industry. So the next segment is crucial, and we'll be presenting a few case studies of collaborative work between industry professionals and faculty members. We'll have about 5 to 7 examples presented here. As mentioned by resource persons earlier, we have other project displays also, and we'll be sharing the list of projects with links to access those based on relevance and importance to you. Plus, you would be able to send it across internally for reference of other team members in your respective organizations so that they can take a look at it and maybe get back to us if they find something relevant in terms of existing work, plus the possibilities for collaboration. Interestingly, we as university do not wait for final year of the students to get into internships and projects. This is one of the things that we are, again, I'm using this term attempting for a valid reason because we're talking about research and innovation. There's no point saying that there is something proven on all the fronts. We have students right from the first year, be it engineering, be it management or other streams that we have. We try and include them in the projects so that there is fresh perspective. Obviously, in terms of learning and protocols and procedures, they need to be groomed a little more. But again, that's a better way to give them exposure so that they learn along with the project work. And they also get exposure, not in terms of industry visits per se or industry interactions, but they get to talk to people. And all the industry professionals here would agree that the best way to groom talent is to sit along with them and probably guide them, nudge them in the process, rather than giving half an hour or 15 minutes talk about 15 things to remember for next 1 year. So to begin with the case study slot, I request Dr. Nitin Satpute sir and a representative from Kirloskar Pneumatics to have the first presentation. Yeah. Just give me a minute.
Yes, thank you for inviting us. I'm from Kirloskar Pneumatic. I'll be presenting it instead of our head R&D. He could not join us today. I'm Dr. Sumit Patil. I work at Kirloskar Pneumatic as senior engineer. And this is something that has started last year under KPCL's R&D Connect program. So KPCL as an organization, you might know, we are a 60-year-old organization. We work in compression, air compression, gas compression, refrigeration systems. We also we have also a division on transmission equipments. And under this R&D Connect program, what we basically wanted to do is strengthen the industry academia collaboration, which is talk of the day today. Under this, we have been connected with VIT, VIIT, VU under various levels. And one of them is obviously with students, but this project particularly was also connected with the faculty. So a brief about what KPCL R&D does. We are a DSIR approved R&D center, which is quite young, only a couple of years old. We heavily engage in design and development of technology readiness levels, mostly beyond 6. But we also have interest working on technology development and demonstration. That's where we thought engaging with academia would be very interesting. And we have multiple collaborations worldwide, people or centers around the world who are experts in compressor technology, as well as some of the Indian institutes such as IITs and ISC and so on, and VU among them. So this is a brief about the business units of Kirloskar, and this project particularly was about air compressors and centrifugal compressor technology. So under this, what we basically wanted to do was develop vibration, reduce the vibrations in the bearings of the centrifugal compressor, which was a need of the hour. We have been investigating this for last 5 years or so. This was a major problem with our products, and that's where we wanted to delegate it to university, and VU came in, and Professor Satpute visited us, and we started this project together. And it has gone to a level where we can say it is a success now, and that's where I would like him to tell you more about the technical aspects of it. Thank you.
So basically here, what we have to deal with is that there is a compressor which runs at maximum RPM of 90,000 RPM, and we have to balance the compressor on the site. So basically here there are various limitations, and one of the major limitation is that we don't have to open the compressor and then do the task. Okay. So here what we have done is that we have taken output from 4 existing sensors. So there is no new sensor to be used. So 4 sensors are there. So we have taken output from the 4 sensors, and we have generated just the reactions which are opposite to the existing reaction. That is the only essence of it. So there are 4 reactions coming at the 2 bearings, vertical, horizontal. So we are generating reactions which are opposite to these reactions. And while generating these reactions, basically the here we may take take help of the phasor also in the hardware. And here we have to develop the solution as a complete package, which includes hardware as well as software. Okay. So here we have to take care of sampling rate also, because the hardware should be compatible to take care of the RPM, which is really high in this particular case. Okay. So this is how the process is going to work. So the vibration data is coming from sensor, and we have custom hardware here which will read the data, take it to the microcontroller. And in microcontroller, there is optimization algorithm because the equations have some sine cos theta terms. So it is difficult to solve the equations directly. So there is optimization approach used here, and it will calculate what are the correction masses and locations, and it will be given, and finally this thing. And lastly, this is going to be the output. Here you can see this will be packaged nicely in a modular term. And here it will have one laptop computer, and along with that our hardware, which will basically connect which will basically tell the bearing reaction data to the software, and software will calculate the necessary corrections and it will give. So this is what is the deliverable: software, hardware, and as well as hardware coupled with the microcontroller and other software programs. Okay. Thank you, Amol.
So as mentioned earlier, Mr. Neeraj from Kirloskar Pneumatics could not join us because of his health issues. So instead of him, we had team representation presenting that. And Dr. Satpute works on multiple projects. So he would now cover few more projects that we have in about 5 minutes. Yeah, over to you, sir.
So I will just cover up two important projects here. So first is a cloud-based condition monitoring system for diagnostic health monitoring of a machine tool for willow methadone plant. So here basically we have the objective that we have to monitor the health of the machine tool continuously. We have to develop here a hardware solution as well as software solution to take the vibration data and noise data and process the data in order to have the condition monitoring estimation. It involves real-time reporting of the data in required format, and it will basically be assisting in the exact failure mode estimation. So these are the existing cloud-based CM systems. They have some limitation. Although there is data communication to the cloud, there is question while reporting the quality of the data which is going to the cloud. So the data that goes to the cloud should be having sufficient quality so that the parameter extraction can be done correctly, so that the parameters which are related to health of the machine can be extracted out of the data. So here we are using industry grade microcontroller, industry grade sensor, and we are able to take presently 700 samples per second. So it is supporting basically high frequency applications as well. And we are using Wi-Fi model presently, but we have the possibility of using GSM also. So this is the hardware that we have proposed. Right now this hardware is with development board, which is likely to become very small in same size of the watch, you can see in the final version. So this is now development board, so it is bit model. So you can see the comparison of the outcome with respect to LabVIEW, which is a commercially used software in vibration analysis. So you can see that it is able to capture the data quite accurately, and here time duration of 0.277 millisecond is captured accurately. The data here from this module is going to the cloud, and from cloud it goes to server in the CSV format is shown here. Now with this CSV we are working on the next part, which is nothing but time domain extraction, frequency domain extraction, and then database management of this thing, and this is something is being done further. The next project is for Yoda, which is development of a wearable device for fault detection. So here we have to design a wearable device with a minimum number of sensors and a microcontroller for fault detection. So here objective is to have a wearable design, and right now we are working on threshold base, that is when the fall is there, either angular velocity acceleration will be more, and based on that this is done. So the system presently works such a way that when there is a fall, the notice goes to the server, and the data is communicated from the wearable device to the cloud, and from cloud it goes to server, and it indicates that there is a fall. So this is how the working. So this is the development module which is done, and it is able to work quite accurately, and this is right now done with this ESP microcontroller. Now this is how the system is going to work, and this is last is very small, is a comparison. So you can see here that before going ahead we had this comparison, and we compared our model with the Amazon Fit Bip U Pro and Apple Watch. So you can see the cost advantage here. So we are able to develop the model in basic model comes at 2000 INR rupees, and this is able to basically this is again having some advantages in context to connectivity, fault detection and all. Plus there may be some intermediate and advanced model. So right now we are working on basic model, and we have cracked this thing. Okay, thank you.
Accelerated it, but Yoga is a company established by Mr. Tarun, and objective of this company is very and we see around us, because everybody is going to the west, and there are poor parents, elderly parents left. They are there at their house. Generally, the elder care home concept doesn't exist or not appreciated in India. There is enough funds available with the children who are there in the other countries, but the parents are there, they stay alone in a big house or whatever. And this company, but they are taken care by, well taken care sometimes by the by the caretakers or caregivers. But sometimes it so happens that they are also exploited because nobody is around. And this is the system that Mr. Tarun Sharma and his company has developed, where you can be observer people, and then you can have the recognition, because many a times also it's very easy to say ki use Apple Watch and you have everything, but the costs are horrendous. So then developing this entire hardware so that then gesture recognition is there, fall detection, all those elements are there that are integrated that they can use, so that there is any signal, then the representation from Yoda can go back to the respective house and check what is the status, and also communicate with the children out there. It's a very innovative concept. And then what you must have seen also, if I may add, in all those projects, I wish to underline, we have also developed hardware as well as software. And the data is always with the company, because otherwise you may think there are systems and systems in the market for prediction of all this. But their problem is the data will not be there. So we are providing data, and hardware is also developed, rather than getting into something proprietary and then ending up paying huge amounts to the company on a subscription basis. So that's the philosophy of all this entire part. Thank you.
Next is project in collaboration with Odec Vibration Technologies. Would like to request Mr. Harnish Raja. Raja sir is Joint Managing Director with Odec Vibration Technologies. Please, sir. He is joined by Mr. Raghavendra, so both of them will cover this along with Satpute sir.
Good morning, everyone. I think it was a very exciting project what we did. We had a very major problem regarding the designing of the dampers. You know, we come from a company, Hodek Vibration Technologies. We are pioneers in torsional vibration dampers, basically used for reducing the torsional vibration on crankshaft. So biggest challenge for us is maximum damping in a low space, lower area. And that was the challenge what we gave to Professor Satpute and the university, and we came with fantastic results. So I'll tell my colleague Raghavendra to go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and thanks Vishwakarma University for giving us an opportunity to be the part of this wonderful session. As Mr. Raja sir said, we had an issue in terms of improving the damping of a engine within the given envelope size. And as the current industry trend that we are going ahead in the automotive segment, the all mechanical engines have been converted into an electronic engines. So, and the damper that is been used is such a component which has been designed once the engine is, the engine validation is almost done. So we had a challenge in terms of improving the damping capabilities given within the envelope size. So Mr. Satpute sir helped us in terms of achieving this, and I would ask Mr. Satpute sir to help us to share us few details about the project.
So here we have built one torsional damper. So this is a damper which is torsional damper, not a linear damper. For preparation of the MR fluid, which is magnetourological fluid, we have used completely Indian ingredients, and iron powder was given by Doka sir, and along with the iron powder there are some other chemicals. So we have made this MR fluid in here only. Plus we have compared the results with the MR fluid from Lords Corporation USA, and we are getting comparable results. So our results are also at par with the Lords Corporation. So it includes preparation of MR fluid, replacing the existing silicone fluid with MR fluid. Next is designing and validation of the test setup for estimation of torsional stiffness and damping coefficient of the TMD with this smart material. execution of experiments to estimate the values, performance parameters and comparison. So ultimately what we have come up with is that, so you can see the damping factor with the silicone oil is 0.18 at for frequency of 80 and 90 hertz, which is in this case is 0.7 and 0.59. So here damping, this is a non-linear liquid, so damping factor varies significantly along the frequency range, and these are the values which are experimental values. So the theoretical calculation is not applicable in case of MR fluid because it is highly non-linear. Similarly, when it comes to stiffness, the torsional stiffness of silicone oil was 825 in comparison to that of the MR fluid, which was quite high, more than 2 times of it. Okay. Now results of acceleration here you can see. With regular MR fluid, with regular silicone oil at 80 hertz, the angular acceleration was 0.9 radian per meter second square, which came to 0.14 in our case with the fluid which was made by VU team. And in case of Lords Corporation USA, the acceleration was 0.33. And you can see ours at 90 hertz we had 1.59, and with 1.41, which is well less than 4.10. So there is about more than 50% reduction in this thing. Okay. So research output is this, that we have prepared MR fluid based on the iron powder which is available in India only, and formulas are developed for basically there is a methodology established so that the torsional damper can be whatever torsional damper is there, we can estimate what is the stiffness of the damper as well as damping coefficient of the torsional damper. And this is done with MATLAB modeling as well as Python modeling and all. And a patent has been drafted which is given to HODEC for next action.
Our next, thank you, ODEC Vibration team and Satpote sir. Our next presenter is Dr. Mamoon Rashid. He is a faculty member in the Science and Technology faculty, but is driving research projects in sectors that is one of the most important to us and human beings, that's healthcare. He'll speak about projects through Research Center of Excellence for Health Informatics. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, morning to all of you here. So I, on behalf of Vishwakarma University Research Center of Excellence for Health Informatics, is going to provide you some overview of the projects that have been delivered and the projects that are undergoing right now in our center. But before talking about these projects, me as a researcher, on healthcare informatics side, it's very important to have the standing of our current research, these healthcare systems globally and here in India as well. So it's doing quite good presently. From the last decade, we have been improved, but the improved in the healthcare systems has resulted into the old population as well. So it's a challenge for us. And we're having more than 800 million beneficiaries right now who are having medical insurance under the government-sponsored schemes. We are having 4 key challenges right now as per our Indian healthcare system is concerned. First is a low doctor-patient ratio. We're having the problem of the affordability. We are having inadequate training staff and delayed detections in terms of diagnostics and all. As per the World Health Organization is concerned, there must be the ratio of 1:10,000 when it comes to the diagnostic radiology and the number of patients. But we here in healthcare in India are having this ratio 0.28 million people. So it's not possible that, within a couple of months, we will be training somebody who will be coming in terms of radiology and all. So AI is having a great role to play over here. And second thing, the average saving of an individual here in India is only 33,000. You just imagine if the diagnostic or this diagnosis is coming late in the second or the third stages, then we have to go for the surgeries. And if the medical insurance is not there, so all the money is coming from the pockets. But when the saving is there only in terms of 33,000, it's not possible, to have this, to handle this, all this amount of money. So it's very important. AI is having a role. We have to understand the anatomy of the healthcare systems and apply this AI-based algorithms on this healthcare so that on no time basis, we'll be coming with some projects that will be deployed in the healthcare systems and will be taking care of it. And as per the global landscape is concerned, so overall, if we'll be seeing $30 billion US have been invested like in healthcare systems for the support of AI, and India is having a standing of $1.1 billion right now. And as per now, our being like from the academic institutions, we are having a part to play in terms of contributions in healthcare systems. So we are coming with the incubation centers, like when it comes to the top institutions like ISC here in India or the IITs or at the state level universities. So we are coming with the incubation centers. But the problem in our incubation centers or the Center of Health Excellences is in terms of funding, in terms of training, in terms of validation, and in terms of market access. So keeping all these challenges under consideration, we in Vishwakarma University came with the Center of Excellence for Health Informatics in 2021. So we are taking care of the training activities. We are having students from the AI side who are quite learned in terms of artificial intelligence. We are trying to bring them on the platform of healthcare informatics, where we are making them to understand the anatomy of healthcare systems so that they can train these healthcare-based data sets, and so that in the longer run, we'll be deploying them in the Indian healthcare systems. Second, we are always open for the international collaborations and the expertise at the international level, so that if we are having any challenge on our platform, so we'll be seeking assistance from them, and it will result in solving such kind of challenges. Third, we are always open with the corporate sector, with the industry, investors, for combating the challenges in terms of healthcare systems. Now, I'll be telling you something about the projects that we have delivered so far, and some of the projects that we are currently, that are taking place right now in our center. This project has been already, present in front of you, but this is the extension part of the project, which is partnered with Yoda Premium Elder Services, Pune, Maharashtra, India. So what we are doing in the initial part of the project, it has been told that, some wearable devices, smart watches and all need to be weared like in the elder population. But we all know, when it comes to the sensor-based technology, these people are quite reluctant. Any person at the age of 70 and you're saying, you have to, interact with the app, you need to install the Apple Watch and all, so they are always reluctant. So we are here, we came here with a solution where the technology will be having least intervention. So what we decided here to install the cameras in their houses and track their daily routine. So in terms of daily routine, what we're doing, we're trying to capture all the objects there in their houses, and our prime subject is the elder person who is there in the home. So once we are tracking their movements in their daily routine, we are recognizing their postures, and after the recognition of the postures, we are simply applying one algorithm at the back end, which is extracting a kind of threshold. If the threshold is saying us that this person is having the critical situation right now, so we are simply posting one message through the IoT system to the server of the Yoda, and the Yoda is then taking the next course of action, like by sending some volunteers there. Second project is one of the funded projects, and is partnered with Ministry of Education, King Khalid University, Saudi Arabia. So here, the challenge was the detection of dyslexia. So it's actually the neurological disorder among the children who are having poor problem with the symptoms as the prime symptoms of poor handwriting and the learning ability or the reading ability. So what we did, we actually prepared a kind of framework. It's a web-based framework which is having AI agent or AI model at the back end. So AI model is trained with 313 children data. Among them, 116 children were having the problem of dyslexia. So what we did, we kept this AI agent at back end of the web interface. Then the children, like who are having or facing any kind of problem, so we are allowing them to come on this interface, and then some kind of gaming, like tests are given over there. So when they are dealing or interacting with those games, so we are actually extracting the parameters like based on their activities. And such kind of parameters are provided to the AI agent, and it's giving us the result or the decision making whether the children is having the dyslexia problem or not. But the important part of this project is we are now having one learning management system. It's actually the researchers from the Purdue University, like yours, what they are saying that there are some of the gaming-like tests which are helping in balancing the neural states inside the children's brains. So we are coming with such kind of tests on our framework. We're allowing these children to interact with these tests and activities so that in the longer run is going to improve the neural states of these children who are suffering from the dyslexia. The next project that we are having is actually, implemented by the students of Vishwakarma University who are from artificial intelligence and data science. So here what we are trying to do just to contribute on the side of diagnostics or diagnostic imaging centers. We all know if the ratio is very less, AI has to play a sound role over here. So in this project, what we are doing, we again came with the framework, kept AI agent at the backside. So now what we have to do, the MRI images, magnetic resonance imaging data, we have trained to this AI model. So once this model is trained with the MRI images, so it's having the ability to decide whether the patient, this medical image is having the problem of brain tumor or not. But what we're doing now, anyone who is going in some diagnostic center will be coming with this MRI medical image. So we have to upload this in our framework, in our web-based interface. Once this is getting uploaded, so AI agent at the back end is deciding whether this patient or this MRI is having problem of brain tumor. Is the detection is there or not? So once the detected brain tumors are coming into the picture, we are segmenting that part. This is in medical science, this is called as the research of interest. This is called as the region of interest. We are having a complete medical image. Maybe some part of the image is there where the detection occurs. So we are going for the extraction of this region and then sending it to the electronic health record so that the experts which are sitting in the tier 1 cities, like here in India, will be looking into it, and then they will be providing the immediate action in terms of medical opinion. So this project is already deployed right now. And one other project is again partnered with Taif University, Saudi Arabia. So it's the current project that we are having in the Center of Excellence in Vishwakarma University. Here what we're doing, we have seen a lot of apps like where we can go for, to check the vitals related to the diabetes and all. But we know that if anybody has to, go for the diagnosis, medical reports are coming into the picture. In this project, what we're doing, we have created one kind of interface, and we will be uploading this medical test report over there. And then OCR mechanism is working at the back end, and it will be extracting such kind of parameters and supplying it to the cloud database, where from my AI agent will be extracting these kind of parameters, and then it will be coming with the opinion that what actually the problem is over there. So we are still trying to refine it. There are some kind of, data extraction is coming out of the sensors, like we are using here, SpO2 sensor, pulse sensor, all IoT kind of sensors. We're trying to extract this data, put it on the server, and then our AI agent, which is based on the deep learning, along with the LSTM, is going to monitor the diabetes in the real-time environment. So, with these projects, so I'm looking forward, as we are open for the collaborations, and I'm expecting that, if challenges there in the healthcare system, it's for all of us. So we as a platform are open for any kind of challenge, but the important thing is funding and the market access. So I feel that we jointly can work for this initiative and look something better in the long run. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rashid. Now it's time to listen to the Managing Director of Industrial Metal Powders India Private Limited. His firm started as a small-scale industry in the year 1974 and has evolved over time. Sir will speak about collaborative research and new product development. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I am Prakash Dhoka from Industrial Metal Powders. We are largest manufacturers of iron powder in the world for fortification application to fight anemia. We are also second largest manufacturer of highest purity iron in the world. There are only two people in the world who make highest purity iron, one in Japan and one in India. So we make 99.99 pure iron. And that is all goes to US defense, especially. Now, talking about the project, how the project come, that was not, I should mention that first. What challenge we got? We have started working with VU on a project of iron powder, where we got a challenge. There is a customer who has a requirement of 400,000 kg, means 400 tons per year. But only condition, if you can reduce the price by $1 per kg. What is the condition? Reduce the price by $1 per kg. So that was a big challenge for us. And I was working on it. And then during my PhD, I gave this project to Dr. Satpute. I said, we must work on this. The only challenge is that we have to meet the specification of magnetic properties of that iron. So then we started working on it. So we used our own iron powder, and we started the skills of different skills to improve the magnetic properties. Then we have used the chemical treatment process, different types of powder mixers, sintering and finishing operations. And we found that by doing this, we get a better permeability, and we can reduce the size of the machine and the weight of the machine. We plotted the BH curve for both type of iron powder. One was given treatment and one was not given treatment. So the powder which was given treatment, you can see the orange color. The magnetic, at a low magnetic field, we got a good magnetic density, and we got a good permeability also there. That was the challenge we are getting. So we have achieved part of the challenge. But what remains now is to plot a BH curve and then submit it to the customer. The research what we did for the last few months, we have found that the permeability of the iron powder has increased by 30 to 35%. Possibility to extend this method to reduce the core losses, because even if we have increased the permeability, the core losses have not come down. So we are working on that now. Experiment to validate the improvement in magnetic permeability also. Then we have made an experimental setup to measure the BH curve. This is actually, we can call in India, jugaad. हम जुगाड़ बना रहे हैं, and we have used all the equipment available locally, and trying to plot the BH curve. And then these are the applications that we found for our iron powder. Then what are the advantages? I just told you, the cost saving, the weight reduction, and before the better magnetic properties of the same powder. Now, the other project that we have got is the high purity iron foil. As I told you, we make highest purity iron. So it came to my mind, there is no high purity iron foil available in the world today. There is one or two people, even if you search Google, you hardly find 1 or 2%, and the price is like लोहा चांदी के भाव में बेच रहे हैं. They are selling iron at the price of silver. So I said, this is a big opportunity. Why don't I do it? So we approach again Dr. Javade sir, then he put me to Dr. Nitin Satpute, and here we have developed a wonderful process. So we have used the skill, a custom designed the heat treatment to ensure controlled rate of cooling. What we did, we have taken a sample of iron foil. We have given heat treatment under hydrogen atmosphere at 850 degrees centigrade with a soaking time of 30 minutes. But we cooled it by the crypto cooling within 30 seconds under liquid nitrogen. It was cooled in 30 seconds to the room temperature. That was the process we have used. And that has given a fantastic result. Then we have designed experimentation for setup of ensure required cooling rate that we have. That was again a jugaad, to have you use a liquid nitrogen such a big quantity and to reduce the temperature in 30 seconds is a very challenging one. But then we could do it. We have made a very small instrument, dedicated instrument for that. Then experimentation for FEA validation on the shielding effectiveness. I'll just tell you. Now we made with the instrument that we have made, we did an BH loop, especially for heat treated iron foil. Now you see the difference between heat treated iron foil and without heat treatment iron foil. With the heat treatment, the permeability has increased, the higher saturation at the low magnetic field, but there is a higher remanence also, and there is a higher core loss also. So we have now working on reducing the higher core loss to make the things more better. The experimental result for shielding effectiveness. Then we did experiment of shielding between electrical steel and high purity iron that we made. And we found that our high purity iron, with that changes in the heat treatment, shows a better shielding than the electrical steel. And this had been used for class 2 application. Class 2 applications where is no more critical like what you need critical in health and imaging instrument. But there is no more critical things there. There we have used our high purity iron for magnetic shielding, and it has been found much better. So we proved that with our iron, we can reduce the weight of the shielding material and have a better shielding properties. So then just I told you we have developed a BH loop tracing equipment for magnetic characterization for soft and hard magnetic materials. The skills that used are suitable for various testing methodology for static frequency, fixed frequency, and variable frequency magnetic measurement. Design of unit with sensor that are available locally, and possibility, now we are working on possibility of integrating with microcontroller and automatic working, because so far it has been done manually. So this is a working systematic diagram for BH loop plotter. Fortunately, we have just, I think before 2 days, we found a new invention for a specimen holder. And we already made everything, but again, we found there was a problem. So we created a new specimen holder, and hopefully next 1 week, we'll be able to do a better BH curve. Thank you so much. What I would try to, as an industry, why we should come to education institutes, academia. These problems, though I have many engineers in our company also, we have metallurgists, we have mechanical engineers, electrical, everybody. But can we do this? What has been done in VU? No. Because especially that academia that you have, the paraphernalia you have, the students that you have, more energetic student. I know for my PhD, my professor used to shout at me and he used to call me, "You didn't come on this Saturday, now come on Sunday." And it is not me. He himself is working for me on Sunday, which is never possible. Those students, yesterday only, they have developed, I gave a problem to them, again for a magnetic application, MR field application. Rather, we are the only company in world who have made iron powder for magnetological fluid with a different particle shape. And we have patent for that worldwide now. So now this application of, physiotherapy chair, it came to, I work with 3 universities at any given time. So I was working with Charita University, and I and Satpur sir went there. They showed us the problem. This is the problem for the patient. What can we do? And within last, I think this is maybe 5 to 6 months. So, sir, kiti samay dale. In the 5 to 6 months, we have developed the circuit. And yesterday only they went to the university. They are very smart. They didn't open the suitcase. They just put the current and said it's working. And they proved it. So all this can happen when you get connected to university. I don't say VU, but I'm happy with VU. I also work with COEP. I also work with Chartered University. But the challenges that we throw to them, which we cannot do in our own organization. We are busy with profit making. After all, the agenda at the end of the day, how much the dispatch and what is the top line and bottom line. But here we come out the top line and bottom line, and we give them the problems, and we get the solution, and that leads to our more top line and more bottom line. So that is what I thank you so much. I thank Vishwakarma University from bottom of my heart, Dr. Jabde sir, Dr. Satpure sir, and all the students who have done so much hard work for our projects, and we are almost completing them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash Doka. Now we will felicitate these resource persons. So I invite a representative from Kirloskar Pneumatics, then Mr. Raja sir from Hodek, and Prakash Doka sir is here. Please join us on stage. Yeah, I request Vice Chancellor sir to please felicitate these resource persons. I request Dr. Satpute and Dr. Mamun to join us for a group photograph. We'll have one group photograph. Please come forward. Yeah. Thank you. So this brings us to tea break, late by 7 minutes. That puts onus on all of us collectively. And so this is going to be, after this tea break, I'll just take a minute to talk about roundtable discussions that are scheduled after this tea break for about 10 minutes. So far, we had requested respected industry delegates to confirm which of the tracks that they would like to join for this roundtable discussion. And there are a few delegates probably unsure, or they would like to witness the discussions rather than actively participate. We request all of them also to join any one of these 4 tracks. And one of the takeaways from discussion so far is that let's look at these, although it is mentioned as banking and financial services, pharmaceutical and healthcare, I think one of the takeaways internally for us also is how do we look at problems, the bigger picture of things. And 2, feel free to join any other track also if you wish to, where you can add value, or the least would be probably, participate in the second half of discussion once you get to hear from other people there. There are 4 meeting rooms available nearby, adjacent to this hall. So the first track, banking and financial services, entry is from the other side, the reception desk area. 2, 3, and 4, entry is from this side itself. So after the tea break, for 2, 3, and 4, you can come back here and enter respective rooms. For the track 1, entry is from that side. And please feel free to keep it broad. As facilitators, respective deans are also aware of this, that there will be people from different industries, different experiences, different age groups. And I think this is the best part of coming together and having an open forum, rather than restricting it to, proper formal breakfast meeting. Thank you so much. And because this is last part on stage, I wish to thank Binghamton University team, leadership here, also the team members that are working offline on this entire initiative, plus our vendors, partners. Special thanks to MCCI team for helping us with the venue. And needless to mention, Vishwakarma University team. It is because of all of them that I could stand here and speak for a while. Thank you so much. Let's join roundtable discussions after tea break. Thank you so much.